Okay, fine.
Welcome, my name is Matej Ashtinsky. I'm a photographer from Czech Republic, and today we're going to take a look at how to create this look in Adobe Lightroom CC. In order to make this tutorial short and simple, it's going to be more of like behind the scenes of my editing process. Together we will go through the settings I use so that you can follow along and create the same look for yourself and even use this as a preset later on. If you have any questions, feel free to comment below, and if you make it to the end, I might give you a little bonus. Let's jump straight into Lightroom Classic, upload your photo, and let's go into the develop page. Now I'm using a Lightroom Classic CC, the latest version, so make sure you upgrade so that you have the color grading page, because this is crucial for the look that we're going for. Okay, let's dive in. Let's start from the basics. So, basic tab, and we will start with the white balance. Now my white balance on my camera was set to auto, and it's usually pretty accurate, but you can never be too sure. So I'll just check here. Now I'm just trying to select some neutral gray area like here. Yeah, that's better. Made it a little colder. You can check by hitting this button next to your enter key, before, after. Slightly colder, and that's fine because that's the look that we're going for. Okay, let's start with the highlights. Let's bring them up. You can see the shadows here and the midtones, so we can bring up the shadows quite a bit. Somewhere here. Separate them even more from the highlights. And in order to compensate for the shadows, we'll bring down the blacks quite a bit also, somewhere around here. This is where we are at, before, after. We'll leave the contrast for now, and let's focus on texture, clarity, and dehaze. In this case, we can use the clarity, but just don't go overboard. Somewhere like here. Now I remember from the scene, when I was shooting up, there was like a really bright overcast, and also there was like this slight mist. So I want to dehaze this picture. It's always good to remember the scene so that you remember the feeling and the situation. Somewhere around here. Let's bring out the vibrance and compensate with the saturation. Now usually I do it the other way around, but in this case I really want to separate the colors, and you'll see in the end how we separated the tree trunk from the leaves. Let's jump into tone curve, and we'll add more contrast into the picture. Now I'll go with the basic S curve. You've probably heard of it. So just bring up the highlights tiny bit and the shadows somewhere around here. Let's bring out, that's better. And I'll brush the blacks just a little bit, just like 5. And I'll do the same with whites, just so that we're not clipping here. Tiny bit. Yeah. And that's it. I always like to zoom in just to check if there's no chromatic aberration. The sky was really bright and the shadows are quite dark, so in between there might be some, and here we go. See this green effect? That's the chromatic aberration. So first I'm gonna just try to remove it automatically by this. Still there, so I will use the manual, and it's really simple. You'll just take this eyedropper tool and target the greens here. That's the one. Yeah, and it just made the automatic changes and it's gone. Attention to details, guys. Now let's skip ahead into the calibration, because this is where most of the magic happens and quite often overlooked, and this tool is really powerful. What we're gonna do is we're gonna focus on the reds first, and you can see the reds in the tree trunk here. So what I like to do, I just like to slide the slider left to right and just see what it does and where it affects the tree trunk. So what I'm gonna do, I'm just gonna pull it more towards the red because I don't like the yellows here. Somewhere around here. I'll bring the saturation down, somewhere around here. It's too far. Yeah, this should be fine. And we sucked out the color, so we need to compensate, and we'll compensate with the blue primary now. So just add the saturation back. Now we can tweak it even more with the green primary. See, I want to separate the tree trunk from the leaves. So I'll just bring it towards this side, somewhere around here. This is the before and after. By the way, if you like this so far, please don't forget to subscribe and also hit the little bell icon so that you get the notification about the next tutorial. I'd appreciate it. Thanks a lot. We'll treat the colors even more in the HSL slider. Let's focus on the oranges, and it's a bit too red, so we'll bring back the yellows here, and with the yellow somewhere here. Now let's check the greens here. Okay, and I won't touch the rest because that's not gonna do anything. Let's focus on the saturation here. I want to add more color into the tree trunk, into the oranges, so let's raise the oranges quite a bit. See what the yellows do. Yeah, here, greens. Now, I know that I don't want green in this picture, so I'll just bring down the greens here. See what the God else doesn't really do anything, so it's fine. Purple, no. Magenta, no, it's fine. Now, luminance can affect the brightness of each color in the picture. Can bring this up a little bit. I don't want to go overboard because it sucks out the color. You can raise the yellow, greens, sure. Okay, and here's your HSL slider. That's before, that's after. Very tiny change, but if you focus here, you can see we added a bit more color. And now we get to the most important part, the secret sauce if you wish. Color grading. Here we can add different hues and affect the lightness of each part of the image, midtones, shadows, highlights. I don't want to add any color into the highlights because we know that this is white and I want to keep it white. So not that, but I want to affect the shadows, and into the shadows we will add, what I like to do is just go crazy with the color, find the right color that I like for this image. I like this one, and then just dial it down. And I want to add even more blues, so you can use the midtones as well here, and again dial it down. Okay. Finally, let's go to the basics. Let's just add some contrast, and there we go. I think we're done. Let's check before, after, and we are done. There's your look. If you want to save this as a preset, go to presets, this little plus icon, create a preset. Make sure you're in the right folder. You can see the folders here. You can create a new group. You can name your preset like tutorial, and you can select different settings that you want to copy. I won't select exposure because it's different for each picture and you can just tweak it by yourself, and then you just hit create. Now I hope you learned something new, and if you did, please hit the like button to let me know. Oh, that's right, I promised you a bonus, didn't I? Hopefully you went through the tutorial and did not just skip to this part, you sneaky little monkey. In the description below, I have included a download link for this Mojito Winter preset for free. If you have not created yourself or got lost along the way, feel free to download it. Now this preset will not work with the skin tones well, because we modified the oranges and the reds. So just be careful about that. I would love to see your results, so feel free to use this preset or modify it to your taste, and please don't forget to use hashtag WinterMojitoPreset to connect, or tag me in the post and I might give you a shout out. And that's it for me. Don't forget to subscribe and like this video if you enjoyed it. Thanks and see you next time.